Well, hello, my fabulous friends. I hope you're doing well. Well, we have the natural new year starting on March 20th this year. Last year was March 19th. This year's March 20th. And if you've been following, oh, nice. If you've been following my ancient planetary system, you know, every 52 days, a different planet takes over. So we start with the sun. The sun always starts the new year off. We start, and it's the vernal equinox. So this year it's March 20th, and then in 52 days the moon takes over. 52 days after that, the Mars takes over, etc., etc. Then we have Mercury, then we have Jupiter, then we have Venus, and then we have Saturn. And Saturn has boobies, and YouTube doesn't like boobies. All right. So at the beginning of 2025, I did my predictions for the year. This is using projections, what the ancient planetary system, this predates astrology. This year, we are actually in a Venus year. So last year, up until the 19th of March, 2025, Saturn was our ruler. Saturn was, and we saw gold, right? Things that are Saturn, gold, and gold has been zooming. I suspect that gold is going to kind of flatten out. I don't expect it to crash during a Venus year, but I suspect it'll be zooming out. We saw lots of karma going on, lots of leaders falling in Saturn year. At least I saw, here in the United States and in UK, they switch leaders. Canada switch leaders. There's actually lots of CEOs step down. The judgments, there's a lot of court cases, a lot of things, mines and minerals and things deep-seated in the earth. We saw women wearing more masculine outfits. We saw them wearing more pantsuits, particularly Catherine, Melania. She's very masculine this year in her dress, very conservative, very masculine. I'm suspecting with this Venus year, we're going to see more luxury. Also in a Saturn year, luxury stocks sure took a kicking, and luxury goods. Here in Canada, we're watching one of our, I guess you could say the most luxury, not really the most, I think Holt Renfrew, and but it's definitely considered not discount, let's put it that way. They've had a very difficult time. Saturn really took a lot of people to task. So March 20th, we're going into a whole brand new vibration, and Venus is taking over. And Venus will be the theme of the year. And if you're wondering how I got that, the cycle goes backwards, right? So we were in Saturn, and then we had Venus. The next year after that is Jupiter. Next year after that's the Magician. Next year after that's Mars, the moon, the sun, and so it starts again. All right, so this year is going to be all things Venus. So when we get to Venus, we will look at that. And if you want to know what planet is your main planet, then go and follow my planetary, my ancient planetary system. I've got a playlist for you to follow. And you can figure out your birthday. And generally, every year is the same. It's just the overall arching planet. So what's going to go on in this year? And, it is basically, lots of truth is coming up. It is basically for the whole year. Planets, they can't just pick on choosing countries. They don't do that at all. That's not their MO. They vibrate. When they vibrate in the universe, it's like a pool that you throw a rock into, the ripples attached to everything. And yes, they do. They do send out vibrations, and yes, they do affect Earth. If you don't believe me, what do the sun and moon do? The moon is affects our water with the tides. The sun affects our water by evaporating it, by sending out sunspots. I know the sun is technically a star. The ancients discovered patterns in the sky. Now Venus is going into retrograde, which is interesting how she's starting the year in the dark. So let's see. Venus and Saturn really don't get along very well. So maybe that's why. I'm just kidding. Planets can't hide on each other. Okay, so the natural Earth year that starts with the spring equinox, or the vernal equinox, because it's not spring down in the across the equator there. The vernal equinox for the world. What is this year of what we call in our modern terms 2025, which is absolutely a made-up year. We just stick with it because that's what everybody's comfortable with. What are the planets? What do they have in store for us in 2025? So these are not my predictions. These are the planets. This is what they have in store for us. All right, cards are ready. Oh, and remember, I don't read these in reverse. So if they do pop out in reverse, I'll turn them around. Oh, maybe so the Sun, the Knight of Cups, peace offering. We're going to see peace in, we're going to see peace offering, knight in shining armor. So this is the first 52 days of the year. So this is generally till about May 12th. We're going to see some kind of a peace offering, offers. So that's actually kind of a very nice card to get for the sun, because that sun is the sun, the time that the sun is out it's not a great time to start things. It's a fantastic time to network. And you don't want to start anything, because you think about it, if you put a seed on the soil at the heat of the day, at the heat of summer, the sun is just going to burn that seed. You have to be able to, plant your seed during moon when there's darkness and water and whatnot. But if you've already planted your seeds, you have to be really careful with them. The sun can burn you. It grows things. It gives birth to things, but it also can burn you. And you think about it, the sun makes that seeds that are already in the ground. Once spring comes along, if you're in a warmer climate, that's when they start to produce and grow and whatnot. Knight of Cups here. I think we're going to see some peace offerings. I think, knight in shining armor. So it's almost like a third person has to come in. Is that going to be Trump? Is it going to be China? Who knows? A third person is coming in. Let me help you with this discussion that you're having. Let me help you with this peace offering. I think these next 52 days are going to be a little bit softer for people. People are going to take a deep breath and networking. This knight in shining armor, this person with an offer. We're currently in a Mercury retrograde, and if you notice, they've got the Mercury wings on their head here. You've got 52 days, so perhaps just network. Don't try and sell anything. Just meet people. Perhaps somebody from your past is going to come back. Perhaps an ex is going to come back, and they're going to come back with a peace offering. That's all I'm getting here. Peace offering. So that's really nice. And so, people might be in the mood to make up and you know what? If people come and they want to apologize to you, let them, right? Don't be the person that they've been telling everybody that you are. Surprise them. All right, so 52 days after that, we go into our moon cycle. And let's see what the moon cycle has Oh, another Knight of Pentacles. Okay, not much is going to go on during this time. Slow and steady. Slow and steady is going to win this race. Also, here's the agriculture. So that would be any time after May 11th, May 11th, May 12th, that kind of timeline. That is great time for planting. Fantastic time for planting or starting anything. But the thing is with the moon cycle, this is interesting because this is slow and steady wins the race. When you're in a moon cycle, it's things that should be done and completed within those 52 days. Oh, just a minute. I thought I wrote down the 52 days. Oh, no. Oh, no. I thought I had the 52 days down. Oh, well, I think I can remember them. I think I can remember them. I'll put them down in the description box. So, for example, during the moon time, you don't want to start anything. It's a terrible time to invest. And I always found that fascinating. This starts around May 11th, the moon period. And look at that old saying, sell in May and go away. And you don't come back until Jupiter's in November. Isn't that fascinating? I think it's going to be a very good time to plant a garden, actually. Gardens will be very popular. Agriculture, and of course, lots of people plant by the moon. Yeah, slow and steady so steady as she goes. Don't do anything brand new during the moon cycle. You know, if you are trying to sell, but of course, if you have to have a surgery, if you have to move for your employment, or, you know, your house burns down, so you have to find somewhere to live, of course. But if you don't have to, I wouldn't choose to do that. And that is May 11th to approximately July 1st or 2nd. All right. So then we have Mars. So we're going to be kind of lulled into this. So this is actually in the summertime. That's also fascinating that Mars, a hot-headed planet, is in the summertime. And that is about July 1st or 2nd until about August 22nd, 23rd. All right. And look at that page. So far we've got Court Cups. You know what? We're going to have surprising good news. Really surprising good news. New beginnings. We might hear some surprise pregnancies during that time. If you're trying to get pregnant, it'd be a great time to get pregnant. Wow, I can't believe we're having all these court cards. So this is during Mars, and I think this is when our peace agreements will come. So here we come in the sun time. You know, you're networking and you're doing things. It's not a great time to start anything. So any kind of peace agreements that are started during the sun time, if they were started in the previous time during Saturn's time, they will possibly go ahead. But if the peace talks only come into effect during the sun time, it might be surprising that they don't last. All right. I think either we're going to hear of a lot of people who are pregnant, a lot of celebrities, maybe, you hear lots of people in your family are pregnant, or it's a great time to get pregnant during the Mars. So that's July 1st to 2nd to about August 22nd-ish. Lots of surprising news, surprising good news, though. The Page of Cups brings us surprising, happy, good news. Interesting. All right. So now we get into our Mercury time. And our Mercury time is, let me talk a little bit more about Mars. Mars is a great time to do like physical work, physical exercise. So you've planted your garden, now you have to really work in your garden. And it's a great time to start an exercise program. It's a great time to really look after your body, but not to extremes. If you look at, if like you push your body, you're doing those marathons, you're going to blow out a knee. if you're pushing it too hard during Mars time. Watch out for fires, for knives, for sharp objects, things like that during Mars time. Also Mars, well, that's when wars and whatnot can start. But I really like the energy around this one. Interesting, we're going into Venus. Venus is a much softer energy. And I want you to remember, and I've said this many times, the planets don't wear a watch and they don't watch the calendar. I want you to think of their vibration, of their energy, of as a sunset and a sunrise, right? So it's not just, one day we're the moon, next day we're Mars. No, the energies kind of blend together, and then one dissipates and the other one, it becomes stronger, and it takes about 2 or 3 days. So that's why it's kind of different every year. But in those murky days, I wouldn't do anything very significant. The energies are all kind of murkied up. Let's just put it that way. All right, so now we're going to Mercury. Now, Mercury is a very dangerous time of the year. Interesting, this is in our northern hemisphere when our school season starts. This is about August 23rd until about, I think it's October 12th, if I'm not mistaken. And this is, look at it, it's the magician, it's intellect, it's communications. And that's when in the northern hemisphere, school starts at this time. And like I said, these go back, this is before astrology. This is how they watch the planets, they watch the skies, and they realize that the skies were programming what's happening down on Earth. All right, so Mercury is the trickster energy. It can bring you lots of money in your e-commerce, if you've done everything right until then, but it also can bring you trickster money, people who want to take your money. It is when the most scams are about, especially, you have to be super, super careful now with the internet. But this is when somebody comes and tries to sell you something that you don't need. You regret most purchases made during a Mercury time. And interesting, when they say sell in May and go away and don't come back till November, well, that's when Jupiter is really nice and strong. And that's the Wheel of Fortune. So what are the energies going to be in this Mercury time? Oh, wow, travel. And Mercury is the travel. It looks like a lot of people are going to pick up traveling, and lots of commerce, communications. It feels like a very busy time, an extremely busy time, actually. Isn't this interesting? This is the first minor card that we have. Yeah, it looks like, that's a very positive card. Lots of action. I think people will, interesting, like, school is starting, but maybe people are traveling to start school elsewhere. Travel's going to be in the news. That's a big Mercury thing. Perhaps something about a car company. I know in one of my predictions, I said a car company is going to go bankrupt. So perhaps a car company is going to be in the news, right? Mercury's the news. Communications are going to be fast and furious. Commerce, it might, perhaps maybe after a lazy summer, things pick up. So I would think that, especially we have this Knight of Pentacles on the moon, like just slow and steady, and we don't really have a lot of action yet, right? Actually, because the page is standing still, this knight is standing still, and this one, are they moving forward, or is just the horse being, bored? And finally, we have some action. So the world might be kind of slow until then. And then all of a sudden, it'll feel like things are really moving. And you know how when Trump first got into office, it felt like things were like just rapid fire, like you're almost exhausted, everything that was going to happen. I think we have the same thing as here. Also with Mercury, this has this also, when I'm doing world readings, sometimes the 8 of Wands can be my bombing card, right? So bombs come in, or bullets, or So there might be some kind of fake news because remember, Mercury is the trickster energy as well. We might hear some red flag news during then. All right, so let's go to Jupiter. And Jupiter, of course, is the luckiest time of the year. Now, we each have our own personal Jupiter time, but this is the Earth's, this is the overall global lucky time. If you happen to be a sun, which I am, I'm a sun, my Jupiter lines up with Jupiter, so I only have one Jupiter time during the year. If your time is, for example, if you are a moon person, you get 2 Jupiters a year. You're very lucky. Or even if you're a Mercury person, you get 2 Jupiters a year. But overall, the Earth gets a good Jupiter, and this goes until, I believe it's December 6th. So about October 12th to December 6th. And you think about all the Christmas shopping, and you know what else is here? Thanksgiving, Black Friday specials. So who's lining whose pockets here? So Jupiter it does expansion. It's lucky in just about everything. Well, it's the Wheel of Fortune. It's lucky in just about everything that you do. There's not a lot that you shouldn't be doing during a Jupiter time. And let's see what the planets, what Jupiter has in store for us this year. Wow. 5 of Swords, basically the very first negative card. Ooh, and the clock agrees with this. So this is going to be important. This year's Jupiter time, and Jupiter expands things. It could kick off some old grievances. You know what I just got to? You know what it could do? It could expand sending the people home that don't belong in your country. We could be getting into something like that. You know, I'm not getting that it's going to be a fantastic year overall for the stock market and money. Now, Venus normally really enjoys their luxury. I'll get more to that on that. And this is interesting that Venus and Jupiter are buddies. That Venus and Jupiter here are kind of clashing. So this will be very interesting to see what happens in this Jupiter time. The 5 of Swords is like it's bullying. It's winning at all costs. It's, you know, thinking that you won, you know, you won the battle, but you lost the war kind of thing. Kind of a smug feeling about it. So I'm wondering if there is going to be some kind of kickoff here, a little one. Right? And it's like, haha, we won that battle kind of thing. But they realize, you know, they kind of lost the war. They won the battle, but they lost the war. And interesting, I said 8 of Wands can sometimes be bombs, and then the next one we get is a battle card as well. So there might be an expansion of meanness on the internet, because swords are my internet card as well. That's air. So that's words, right? Swords are words. So there might be, you know, hacking on the internet. Might be a big expansion of hacking on the internet. And interesting, that's coming right after the Mercury time, which is the scamming part of the year. Don't get me wrong about Mercury. You can definitely make a lot of money in your Mercury time with commerce. It's a great time to communicate with people, you know, if you want to clear something up, as long as everything's above board. If you've been, you know, immaculate in your dealings, Mercury will definitely bless you there. If you haven't been, watch out, Mercury will bring you some karma with that. Not as bad as Saturn, but Mercury can bring you a scammer into your life to teach you a lesson. All right? Also, I just got a download here that it might be a good time for moving for people. This is the movement card. It might be a good time for people for moving, especially here with this next card and people walking away. So people changing where they live. We might see a lot of that. And Venus, that's part of Venus too. Venus likes to be comfortable. Comfort, comfort, comfort. So if you're uncomfortable where you're living, you might find a real big urge to move sometime this autumn. That's unfortunate. I was hoping we'd get a nice card on that. We could say, oh, the stock market's going to go really nice this year. I think this is also indicative that we're going to see the stock market up and down, up and down. So there's going to be winners and there's going to be losers. And that's the game of the stock market anyways, but I think it's going to be a little bit more fast paced this year. I don't think we're going to see like low dips for really long times and high dips for really long times. I think we're going to see up and down, up and down. I think it's going to be a very unsettling year for investments. And this would be a great time to tell you this is a work of fiction and work of tarot cards. And please see the full disclaimer down below and always follow what your financial advisor's advice is. And I'm not giving you any kind of financial advice. I am weaving a story with the tarot card. All right. Phew, just about forgot to say that. All right, so now let's get to our Venus card. And like I said, this is a Venus year, and this is the Empress. And what is Venus all about? Comfort. And this also goes back to when I said there might be a lot of pregnancies this year, because Venus is pregnant with possibilities. It's also the Earth Mother. I think we're going to see Venus is luxury. Venus loves luxury, but I want to see what card lands on this, what kind of luxury. Sometimes luxury is time. Sometimes luxury is no clutter, so you don't have to clean things. But it's definitely, we're going to see our velvets and gold and diamonds and wine. Wine, I think, is going to become very important this year. I think it might be a really good year for wine. Venus rules wine. Social connections. Again, I think people are going to, and that could be here with this networking. I think people will discover people coming out of the woodwork they haven't heard from in a long time. Venus loves social exchanges and friendship, really. And of course, relationships, love. Venus is love. So let's see, what does Venus have in store for us? Justice. And isn't that interesting? Because genius. Venus rules Libra and justice. And it looks like we're going to get a balance. And that will be about December 6th to, I think it's January 25th. I think. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So it's about then. I'll put the real dates down below. I'm just going to give you an example because like I said, planets don't wear a watch and they don't follow our calendar. It's a sunrise and sunset, how these planets get, now it's your turn. It's your vibe that's vibing. So justice. Well, Venus does love justice. She does love fairness. And interesting, I said about karma, about, if you haven't been up on the up and up, you definitely will be paying a price. Do not go into debt for any kind of luxury goods whatsoever, even though you might see that they're on a fabulous sale, or, you've always wanted that beautiful couch, but if you don't have the money, don't do it. Venus is very, very adamant about that. This is our first major arcana we got, and it's on Venus. Interesting, because justice is also considered female, right? I think this is going to be a year for females, but in the Venusian way. So in the way that, not the Me Too movement, where, it's attacks against females. I think we're going to see strength in females. So again, interesting, we saw during the Saturn part, we saw the females start to wear suits, pantsuits. Their dresses are very kind of masculine looking. I see that trend with Venus ruling is probably going to end a little bit, but that doesn't mean they aren't going to be as powerful. So it's going to be like an elegant power suit, if you know what I mean. Like, so perhaps there's beautiful buttons on it, for example. Or you're wearing beautiful gold and diamond jewelry with it. or your hair is done really nice. Venus is anything very feminine, and that can also go for the males. It could be like, so your suit again has beautiful gold buttons on it, or your shoes are immaculately polished, and maybe you start to drink a really nice wine instead of scotch, that kind of thing. You start to enjoy more of your comfort, that you enjoy comforts in maybe perhaps you never worn little sheepskin slippers, and now you buy yourself a beautiful pair of slippers. When you come home, you give your feet a nice massage in the fleece, those kind of things. But I think we're going to go back to beauty, back to balance, back to luxury. I'm almost getting by the end of the year, because remember Venus, and Venus loves parties. And look at, that's Christmas time for the northern Christian nations, right? That's party time, and Venus loves her parties, and her luxurious foods and her wine, and everybody's dressed really nice. That's Venus in her element. Especially like Christmas parties, you think how many you go to, and you're in you bought a new dress for Christmas time, and you got your jewels on and sparkly, and that's all Venus, and Venus loves it, and she really relishes in that. Gift giving, right? I think we're going to find that this year people give elevated gifts, like they'll give one beautiful gift instead of 10 Timu gifts. You'll get one beautiful gift. I think we're really going to see that. Then we're going to see a balance in all of that this year. I think that Venus is coming in. I'm almost getting a sense that she's coming in kind of like, what the hell did you guys do in the last 7 years? How come you messed everything up? And you think about it, what's happened in the last 7 years? Men become women, women become men. Look at it in the sports, men competing in women's sports, men beating the hell out of women. I think we're going to see all of that reverse. We've already seen some of it reverse, and Venus hasn't even rocked this year yet. She's just coming in, and we're already starting to see some of that. And I think we're going to go back to your boy, your girl, and never the two shall mix up again, right? Or something like that, because we have justice here. So I think we're going to see a lot of like, I'm getting like the yin yang symbol, where we've got a little bit of each other in each other, right? Because we have the dots in the yin yang, but we're quite separated. I think Venus is coming in. She's pretty angry about what's going on in the last 7 years. What else can I see about? I really think, like, your really rich colors, your reds, your purples, even though Venus, it's like very feminine, so you think pinks and pastels. No, that's more childlike. Whereas Venus, she loves like her reds, like, and her burgundies, not as deep as a Scorpio, right? But rich looking colors. Your browns, watch brown to really take off this year, because brown's more of a warm color, right? Wouldn't be surprised if furs started to make an appearance. But yeah, I think there's going to be balance between what a boy looks like, what a girl looks like. I think she's coming in to say, okay, you guys muddled it up. I'm here to fix it. And but I want to fix it nice with fun, and everybody's sitting down, having a glass of wine, enjoying themselves. And let's figure this out and balance this out. So I think that's going to be the theme of the year. Men with luxurious goods. So for example, a beautiful watch. but that's the only watch you have. I think the age of overabundance is over for a while. All right, so now let's get to Saturn. How's Saturn feeling after this year? Seven of Cups. I think Saturn's going to stick around for a while, guys. I think Saturn's almost saying, like, I'm not quite done. I've still got a little bit of work here to do. I think that there are interesting, he's black there, and Saturn's color is black. I think this is going to be, I wonder if Saturn and Venus are working in tandem. Oh, I forgot to mention, Venus people are also very beautiful. There's a beauty about them. They could be very, what some people would consider plain looking, but there's a beauty in them. Like they're a beautiful plain looking person. And that's all, like Venus is like Brad Pitt, and Catherine is a Venus. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Sophie is a Venus, right? And there's just something about them. I'm not saying they're plain looking. They're just naturally beautiful, and you're somehow really attracted to them. Interesting. Megan's a Mars, destroys everything. No, not all Mars people do that, but they can be very aggressive. And a lot of Mars people are in the military. They love the military. Okay, so let's get back to Saturn. I think there's going to be a Saturn hangover this year. I think that there's a lot of people who didn't learn their Saturn lessons, and Saturn is the karma keeper and the taskmaster. So, for example, if you did start something in Saturn before it moved over to Venus, it may be like an unfinished project forever. Now, I find this fascinating that if you have if you catch an illness in your own personal Saturn time, or if you start a project that you can't finish before your next thing starts, it feels like you never finish it. So there could be some things that are going on during this Saturn time. One of the things I'm thinking of is measles. I'm going to read on that next, what's happening with measles. It could continue into this year with no end in sight. Like you think about it, like the COVID, it started in a Saturn time, and I think, let's see, so 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, the Magician, and 21. It started in a Saturn time, and it just took forever for the governments to get over. And I want to show you, COVID is during the Magician, during a Mercury year. Trickster. Anyways, I digress. So I think there are some things that happened in the Saturn time, and the Saturn time is about January 26th, right up until the next spring equinox, whether it's the 19th or 20th. And again, you don't need to know the exact dates, you just need to know the approximate dates when the vibrations are changing. So something that has happened between January 25th to March 20th may continue on. So what am I thinking of? Peace talks, right? This whole Zelensky thing. Is he gonna try and drag this on and drag this on and drag this on? Harry's thing, his visa thing, and they're dragging it on. Megan's show, like, it's very confusing. What is it? And now she's doing this laminata. Like, what is it? What is it? Like, people are still a little bit confused about that. Also, this tells me that Saturn isn't stable. In this next year, usually when you move on to the next planet for the next year, that planet before that kind of takes a rest. And it's showing me Saturn's very, I don't want to say unstable. Just unfinished business, not restful, restless. And there's a few things that perhaps the karma didn't completely click in, and it wants to continue that. So we might see some of that carry forward into this year with Saturn. So things that weren't exactly cleaned up, I think will, and this is the world as well. So, is this the tariffs, right? Those weren't settled before March 20th. The tariffs around the world. So is that going to continue? Because that basically started in a Saturn time, in a Saturn year. So the tariffs, and they affect the whole world. There's tariffs. China does tariffs on Canada, on the EU, on Australia. Like all these, it's like pick a pick a country, and they probably have been assigned tariffs. Things about Greenland. Here's one. Canada has this installed PM. There's something about that's unfinished business that Saturn is going to look after. So Saturn almost feels like my hands are still full. And they're not handing it over to Venus. They're going to continue to work on those and clean those up. So we might see a little bit more of Saturn. Perhaps that's why it's kind of slow until we get to our Mercury time, and then things start to move. So perhaps that's what that surprising news is. Saturn cleans up one of these peace treaties or something like that. So that kind of really makes sense, that Saturn's like, well, I'm not quite done. And Venus is like, well, it's all right. I'll look after it. But, for a lot of us, it's kind of nice to have Saturn done for the year. And now we go into our Venusian time. Venus is a fantastic time. A Venus year will also see perhaps more balance in what females look like, right? The last 7 years where, these bubble butts and great big lips and way too much makeup, like way too much makeup. I think we're going to go back and see more of that in balance. I think Venus is going to show up and go, what the hell? I left you guys in good hands. And what's 7 years ago? 2018. No, we're in 2025. Yeah, 2018. Before COVID, before women wore their hair in updo ratty knots and wore sweatpants all day. Venus is coming back going, what the hell? You got big butts. You got these big goofy lips. You wear way too much makeup, but you don't do your hair and you wear sweatpants. We're going to fix that. We're going to see by the end of the year with more femininity, women wanting to be more feminine. This will be a fantastic year to get pregnant, a fantastic year to have a child. I think we're going to see a lot of news about children, especially babies and pregnancies. I think we might even get some surprise pregnancies. That's the Tower, accidental pregnancies. So if you don't want to get pregnant, be very careful this year, right? Because the Tower, the Tower is the hand of God, and the Tower can be your house burning down, or it can be a lottery win. It's something that you completely don't expect. So it also can be with the Page of Cups here, unexpected pregnancies. This would be the year that happens. All right, so that's the general vibe for the year coming up. It looks like it's, in some respects, it's a lot quieter than I thought it would be. I wish Jupiter was a little bit more involved. But that reading I did, how Trump's year is going to go. Years 1 and year 2 are going to be very bumpy. Things won't settle until year 3. So this makes sense. We've got a little bit of bumpiness here. One of the things I want to point out, we didn't get great Pentacle cards here. We got the Knight of Pentacles, which is slow and steady. So in some respects, I'm going to say that, your basic blue chip stocks and slow and steady investments, things that grow slow, steady, foundational things, that's where it's going to be. I don't think this is going to be a great This is not going to go down as a great year in the stock market or making lots of money. So this could be a warning too, is, you know, keep your money safe and slow and steady, because I really am getting a feeling this stock market this year, especially on the Jupiter, is going to be all over the place. So if you just invest it, know that that's what happens. Don't look every day, how is it up, is it down? Just get your blue chip stocks, your blue chip investments, and if anything, maybe agriculture, things like that might be your best bet. Don't speculate, is what I'm saying. But I'm not your financial advisor. You listen to your financial advisor. This is just what I'm telling you, what my tarot cards are saying. Please read the description down below. All right, thank you very much. YouTube's now going to show you a video that perhaps you haven't seen before. Why don't you click on it, and I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching. Take good care. Bye for now.